we want an instant fix. We want the pain to go away. We want the joy to come. We want all of these things, but it doesn't happen overnight. The thing is, though, it can happen faster than you think, and it can happen now. But it starts with, and not to oversimplify it, but it starts with recognizing that, hey, I can do something about this. And I'm the only one who can do something about this. I see too many people, they know they need to make a change. They're in the same situation that you all are in, or that I've been in. And you think, well, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I just don't feel like it. I don't feel motivated, don't feel pumped up, I don't know what to do. And what happens is 1 month becomes 6, becomes a year, becomes 3 years, becomes 5 years. And next thing you know, you're in a rut that's even harder to get out of. Okay. Like I said, yes, start today, but you're not going to fix it today. But it's that idea of recognizing the value of time. Okay. And here's what I mean by that. When all of these things that you all had mentioned, there's so many others as well. And each is very personal and important to each person, but it can seem overwhelming. It's kind of like trying to lose weight. Okay. It's like, well, if you need to lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds or whatever, you're just like, it can be daunting because you're like, it's going to take me 6 months. It's going to take me a year to do this. And I want it now. And so what happens is we tend to not do anything because it's just so, defeating in a way. But when you recognize that, the longer you kick that can down the road, the less time you have to enjoy things. And the thing about time is this. I mean, this is, if this doesn't punch you in the face, okay? On average, we get 75 seasons. Okay? Hopefully more, hopefully a lot more. Some people, right there. And if you've had friends pass away, we're at the age now where we have friends pass away. You just don't know. It could hit you tomorrow. Okay. And I think that's the thing, is understanding the importance of time right now, that there is no waiting. There is no tomorrow. Today is your tomorrow. That's really it. Today is your tomorrow. One moment. I have to deal with a child. Moo, come here. So the time thing is huge, right? On recognizing this is something that you can't wait. Okay. And whether it is something you do on your own, whether it's making, in whatever aspect it is, whether it's a choice to make a move, get in a relationship, change your job, change your, whatever. Okay. That's up to you. But you have to start now. I mean, one of the worst things I hear from people about trying to create their life story is they keep reading the same damn book over and over. They keep reading and living what's happened to them for the previous 20 or 30 years because I'm just busy. I'm busy. I'll get to it. I don't have time. The hell you don't have time. You got nothing but time to do something with it. And what's going to happen is you're going to suddenly wake up and there will be no time. So making that not just acknowledgement, but that conscious effort and a commitment to do something for yourself in moving that way. Okay. And where does that come to? Okay. And that how I see it manifest itself. Okay. And everybody's a little different. But when we talk about creating your story, everyone's story is unique. Okay. That's the beauty of it. There are some commonalities, some things, but everybody has their situation that revolves around where they were raised, how they were raised, the good times, the bad times, the trauma, who you chose as a spouse, the jobs you took, all of these things. And they are that imprint on you and what has brought you to this point and made you who you are right now. I know that sounds very simple, but think about it. Okay. We bring, it's like you're given a big giant duffel bag, right? And you're given a duffel bag when you're young. And we get to choose what to fill that duffel bag with, but we got to take that duffel bag with us everywhere. Okay. And the problem is sometimes we hit this stage of life and our duffel bag is just full of crap and garbage and stuff that doesn't belong there anymore. And we're just like, well, I got to bring it because it's always been there. No, you can dump that thing out. You can leave it on the side of the road. You can refill it. And I think that's the idea, is we can refill that bag with the good stuff, with what we want. We don't have to lug this crap everywhere. And too many people do. And one of the ways that I see this occur is in how people view themselves. Okay. Because we talk about story, right? A life story. Well, stories have main characters, right? You have an antagonist, a protagonist, all this. So you're the main character here. And you are the consistent person throughout all of this. The problem is, all too often, we view ourselves as an imposter. We don't really view we are the core character, the central character to the story, yet we treat ourselves like an extra. We treat ourselves as someone who, we really don't belong here. And what I mean by that, the example I use on that is a cover band. Okay. A cover band, and people heard me talk about this before. I mean, the Journey cover band, the Def Leppard cover band, whatever it is, that's great, but there's only one original. And yet too many of us live our lives as if we're a cover band, singing somebody else's songs, playing someone else's greatest hits, and really not singing our own songs and living our own true and authentic life. And that's a big problem. Because what happens is, just like Carrie had mentioned, you hit a life event. More often than not, it's either a pivotal birthday, a life event like being an empty nester, a divorce, loss of a parent, major career change, anything, having a friend pass away, something shakes you and rocks you and wakes you up to go, okay, I'm at a crossroads here, and I have a choice, but I don't know what to do. And do I continue how it's been? Well, maybe you can't. In the case of being an empty nester, you can't go back. They can't. They can't be babies again. Okay, this is it. You have no choice but to go and live your life. Others, it's a situation where I have the freedom. Let's say a divorce. Okay, you have the freedom to move in any direction you really choose, but oftentimes we don't know. And the reason for that, go back to the cover band example, we've been singing somebody else's damn song for so long that that's what people expect from us. That's, all we really know. And that's the key thing right there. That's really all we really know. And oftentimes, this is a bit, I'll tell you how I came to all of this is, and I skipped the part about telling you who the hell I am, but that's unimportant. Other than I've written a lot of books, I've done a lot of work on this personally, I've lived it and I've taught it. But here's how I've lived it and how it comes to bear. I faced a fork in the road too. And I had been in a cover band, I've been singing someone else's song, but the example that I used there, and it hit me several years ago. I have 3 grown children, and my daughter was about to get engaged, and without going into great detail, it was very contentious. Okay, with all of the ex-wife, the in-laws, all of this, and my participation and inclusion in it. And my daughter said, "Daddy, you've kind of been a shell." I'm like, "What?" Well, I'd always prided myself on I've written books on being a dad. I mean, I'd always been priding myself on being this amazing dad. And to have your grown daughter go, "You have just completely mailed it in the past few years. You've been a shell of yourself, and you just haven't been present and attentive." And she knew that one of my very favorite quotes was from Liz Gilbert, author of Eat, Pray, Love. And the quote from that is, "If you want the castle, you have to cross the moat." Think about that. If you want the castle, you have to cross the moat. And my daughter knew this. And she said, the problem with you, Daddy, is you have a castle right here. And every time, and we're waiting for you. We're in it. You have no idea what amazing things are in your castle. You have this family that loves you. You have all of these friends. You have all of this. And every time you get right to the moat to cross it, to come and join us, you run, you turn and you run and you chase someone else's castle. But that's it. And that hit me. She goes, "You need to stop chasing other castles and come get your own." And that cut my legs out from underneath me, because I realized that, because that's what it was, because I was scared to actually live my life. It was so much easier for me to be the cover band, chase someone else's drama, issue, dreams, other than that, then face what was in my moat. My moat was looking at my past, coming to terms with that, letting some of that baggage go and fighting those dragons that lived there. Long story short, I did it. I went to hell, I did it, and I came out the other side of how to reinvent and rediscover and restart and re-energize my entire life and way of being. And I'll give you a few key lessons from that. Okay. Like I said, not an easy, let's put it this way. It's difficult, but it's not complex. Does that make sense? It's hard work, but it's not complex. This isn't like, oh my God, you need years of therapy and all of this and that. It's pretty simple. It's just not a lot of fun to do, but it's so worth it. And it's fun of, we always want this aha moment. You can have those aha moments, but sometimes you have to look in the mirror or look backwards to look forward. So we'll talk about that for a second. I'm going to share with you a few of these things that I've learned and hopefully you can be aware of. And then we can talk a little later about maybe how we can maybe work together or do something to put that into practice. Okay. But the first one is this. We talk about this idea of, I love that cover band example, but another offshoot of that is this idea of, for so long, many of us at midlife, 40s, 50s and beyond, we find ourselves after one of these life events and we look and we go, I don't know who I am. Now that sounds real big and philosophical, but it simply put, it's who are you truly right now? Because you've probably spent the past 20 or 30 years having a label, right? Having a label that someone else put on you. Now that could have been your parents. It could have been a spouse, could have been a teacher, an employer, or it could have been just a society of the voices in your head, of anything, it's personal for everybody. But those are the things that we tend to live up or down to, those expectations and those labels. And that's a big one. And so what happens is we tend to become someone who's kind of inauthentic, right? And the example I use on that is a chameleon. You know what a chameleon is, right? Cute little googly-eyed lizard, changes colors. Well, a chameleon has that ability to adapt to its surroundings, to change color. And a chameleon adapts in order to survive. So it's not somebody's lunch. Yet we have become chameleons. Many of us have reached this stage of life operating as a chameleon. And though we don't have the ability to change our appearance or our skin color or skin tone to change colors to adapt, we do change our behavior. We change our behavior, we change our voice, we change our dreams, we change our expectations. We show up totally different. And why? To avoid being eaten? No. To be loved, to be accepted, to be heard, to be seen. All of these things. We play the game and change who we are and adapt to just be needed, loved. That's it. And we found that it doesn't feel very good, but it works. And it works until it doesn't. And then what happens is after one of these big life events, you find yourself asking, just like these questions earlier, hey, I'm at a loss. What do I do? What's next? Who am I? Where do I go? Because here's the thing. Yeah, a chameleon can change all of these amazing colors. When you see them, they're these brilliant, like a magenta or a blue or something. What's a natural color of a chameleon? It's either a brown or green. That's it. And the thing is, for us, we don't know what our original color is. We have changed and had to adapt for so damn long that we don't remember what color we are in our natural state. In our natural state, when there's no stress, when there are no expectations, when nobody wants anything from us, when we can truly just be ourselves and are comfortable in our own skin. When you're not living up to one of the labels that happened before it was put on you, before you were a mom, before you were, just considered a daughter or a wife or a husband, your own true, natural, stress-free, authentic color. What is it? What is it? And that's the thing right there, is acknowledging that I have lived, we talk about creating your story. Well, every story has chapters, but I think that it's important, unlike a long novel where the story ties together and weaves together, that sounds great to have your life like that, but more accurately, it's just a series of short stories. It's a series of chapters or short stories. And we're at a pivotal moment now where we can change and adapt that new story. So what are you going to do with that? And I think acknowledging that, hey, that character, have operated under these labels. And now for this next story, this next version of me to continue, I get to shake the Etch-a-Sketch. I get to start over and I get to figure out how I want to be, how I want to show up, what I want to do, how I want to live. But you have to have a baseline, okay? And so figuring out what that natural color is, we got to go back to figure that out. And then you can add all kinds of things on top of it, okay? See, I think a lot of times people think they can just, well, I'm just going to go crazy and add stuff to it. Yeah, but you have a lot of good stuff that you probably left in the back. Okay. And, the example I want to use there is, so I grew up in West Texas. I grew up in Lubbock, Texas. And boots are a way of life. It's boots and starched Wranglers, like shit you not. Okay. That is a real thing. Okay. Couldn't stand starched Wranglers. Starched jeans in the hot weather, not a good deal. But boots I wear to this day. And I have the most amazing collection of boots. My favorite are a pair of chartreuse ostrich Lucchese's. They're beautiful. They are amazing. And I have old work boots and square toe boots and ropers and everything else. And here's the thing with boots. When you see a brand new pair of boots, they can be, doesn't matter if they're work boots, if they're my Lucchese's, whatever, they look a certain way. They have a certain shine, they have a certain color, they're scuff-free, and they're beautiful. But with time, you wear them out, and the heel and the sole becomes a little scuffed. The heel might wear down, the heel might even break off at some point. They'll get dirty, they'll get caked with stuff, and they won't be as shiny as before. And sometimes you'll have mud and dirt and crap all over them, and they don't look like they used to. You can barely recognize them. But here's the thing with boots that's so beautiful. Boots will last a lifetime if you care for them, but you also have to shine them. You have to polish them. You have to clean them occasionally. And so wash them, shine them up, and they may still have a little scuff. They may still have the patina, has been acquired on it, and it has a little different finish, but you can still see the original beauty in that. And the other beautiful thing about boots is this. Yeah, they may be broken because like a lot of us, we're broken in a lot of ways, right? But hey, guess what? You snap off a heel, you can go have that replaced. You can go get it resold, and you start again, and you live and you continue, and it's almost good as new. And we are the same way. And so sometimes you got to go back and remember and knock the dust off the boots, knock the cobwebs out of your head, empty the duffel bag and figure out, okay, what's this? How beautiful are these boots? Okay. Because we all wear them. We all wear them, and we're just like a pair of boots on that. So to do that, you have to go back and see what the best parts of them are. All right. And then you can start adding to it. That's it. You can start adding to it. And the problem is this, like if you have a dirty pair of boots and they have, mud and stuff all over them, and you go put polish on top of it, it's not good, is it? It's not going to work, right? It's going to just be all gummed up. So you have to shine it up first and then apply the new stuff. But too many times it's a midlife crisis. I'm just coming out of a divorce. It's whatever. And so rather than actually taking the time to look at you, okay, look at you and move forward, we keep adding layers and layers and layers and layers instead of actually looking at that foundation of what's the best part of you. What of all of my 40, 50 plus years that I'm here, what's the good stuff? Whether it's the good stuff that's always been there, the stuff that was there that I liked before everything changed. What I want to be, where do I want to go? What is that? And you can start to add from that. Okay. Where I'm leading with that is sometimes we hang ourselves up because, as I said, it's kind of overwhelming. You haven't done it in a while. You know what you know. You also don't know what you don't know. And so where do you start? The problem that hangs up a lot of people is we think when we want to reinvent, restart, that type of thing, is that it has to be perfection. well, I don't know what I want. I should know, and it should look this way, and it should happen. No, it's this idea of a masterpiece. One of the cliches that I had heard for a long, long time is, I want my life to look like a masterpiece. I thought, oh, what type of bullshit is that? It sounds really great. It sounds wonderful. Okay. But it's just not very realistic. It's just not. And one of the things I haven't done it in a couple of years, but I spent a long time as an artist. Okay. I was as a child, I wanted to be an art major. Dad said no. Again, more fun labels, right? So I didn't do that. And later in life, after I got divorced, I threw myself into painting and became very involved in the Dallas art scene. I sold several of my paintings and I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. The interesting thing is this. While people think about a painting as, oh, it's a finished product. I want my life to be this amazing masterpiece. I never wanted that. I want my life to look like a palette. Okay. You know what I mean? A palette is it can be anything. It could be paper, it could be a board, it could be whatever, but that's what the artist mixes their paints on to create color. And if you've ever really seen a palette, okay, the little emoji has it. Oh, here's a drop of yellow and a drop of green. Bullshit. It's a mess. It is a beautiful train wreck if you've ever seen a real palette. And the thing that I loved about a palette is it is the beautiful mess that's critical to making the masterpiece. See, a masterpiece is not just preformed. A masterpiece, whether it's a life or whether it's painting, just doesn't occur. You look at Van Gogh. You think he just went, "I'm going to set out to be to paint a masterpiece." Dude didn't sell a painting while he was alive. Okay, you realize that. Didn't sell a single painting while he was alive. The arrogance of someone going, "I'm going to create a masterpiece," doesn't happen. It happens later on, and it's usually determined by someone else. Okay, and there's a hell of a lot of work that goes into it. And so the palette is the unsung hero in all of this. Because if you look at it, there's a picture that I have, and I'll put it up at some point. It takes about, I think, 9 of the big masters out there. Everybody from a Matisse, a Picasso, a Monet, a Degas, Van Gogh, all these, and it shows you their palettes. And what's interesting is this: they're all a mess, but you can tell whose is whose. Okay, that's the interesting thing about it. Every palette is unique. Every palette is unique because you can tell that was Picasso's palette. That was Van Gogh's palette. And you can see because it has a texture, a life, a color that is unique to its own. And so I say that, I give you the art lesson there to show you that, hey, your life doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't. And it doesn't have to be perfect to get started. You don't have to have it all planned out or mapped out. And it doesn't have to be perfect along the way. You're going to screw it up. You are. It's just human nature. It's okay. Everything does. But if you accept that and go, this is in service of me creating the masterpiece that I won't know until late in the game. But right now, I'm going to create the most colorful, vibrant, textured palette that I possibly can. And instead of using paint, I use my life, I use my experiences, I use my relationships, all of that. That's what's going to make a palette. And that's what you need to look for. Okay. So what I've shared with you is some things that kind of hang people up from even getting started. And that's a big one right there. I can't tell you, I've worked with so many people all over the world in similar situations. And it's one of these, just like, hey, I'm an empty nester. I just got divorced. My parents died. I'm just starting over. And they keep spinning their wheels. Like I said, we're not going to solve it all tonight, but we can get you started, and get you started and going down that path of, okay. And everybody's path is different, just like everybody's palette is different. Okay. But when you can take the time, instead of just running like a squirrel to different things or staying put, it happens faster. It really does. It's one of those things where, hey, if you take the time in the beginning, you go, okay, here's who I am. Here's, where the gap is, and here's where I need to be. And, there's a quote I'd seen too. It's because we do get hung up on the past a lot. But a, a perfect future doesn't require a perfect past. It's just it. So, you know what? You had a marriage that screwed up. Your kids are screwed up. You had some problems. Well, your career, whatever. Okay. You made some bad choices. Okay. You made some bad choices several times. Okay. That doesn't keep you, those are in the past, and it doesn't keep you from moving forward to reinvent and restart again. You know, my late mom, hey, my late mom, just graduated high school, never went to college or anything, but she had more wisdom about her. And it was, I guess it was kind of like, I don't know if she ripped it off from Annie, the musical or not, but it was like that whole idea of the optimism that she instilled in my sister and me, in that, hey, you get a do-over every morning. Every morning you wake up, you get a do-over. That's it. Very little in life, is absolute permanence and stuck with, and we can say, oh, well, kids. Yeah. But you know what? Hey, right now, yep, they're always going to be your kids, but they're grown, they're gone, they're flown, they're on their own. Okay. And you're always going to be their mom or dad, and you're going to be there for them, but it's your time. It's your time to do it now. And so those are just a few things. Okay. Just a few things I wanted to share with you all to maybe kickstart your story, kickstart you creating that next chapter, because the summer's a weird time. Summer is a weird time for a lot of people because, that empty nester, we go back to that, but that is a huge one there. Whether someone's going off to college, whether someone graduates college, whether the permanence of, oh my God, my babies aren't babies anymore. Or I see this a ton too. How many, and you don't have to answer on this, but I mean, I worked with so many people that are like, they're in a horrible, horrible marriage that they should have, everybody knows, the kids know they should have been divorced years ago, but you know what? We're going to stay together until the kids are out of the house. And guess what? Hey, we're going to fake it, and we're going to drive and drop them off at college and come back, and you're sitting there staring across the room from somebody you can't stand and figuring out what the hell am I doing now? Okay. That's not uncommon. The point is, summer's an interesting time, but you can pull that trigger, you can start it, you can pick up that pen to write your own story anytime you want. And today's the best time. Today's the best time. That's it. It's not, I'm busy, we'll start in the fall, I'll see. What else? This is your life. It's your life. And the other thing is this, you can be whoever you want to be. I'm not talking about doing a crazy Madonna, Lady Gaga type, change here, start speaking with a British accent or something stupid like that. You can if you want. But it's the idea of, you get to try on different styles, not just how you dress, but how you show up. Okay. How you present yourself, what you want to do. I'll give you a great example here from someone who I've worked with before in the same program, actually. She's 53, and she'd been married for, years and years and years. Husband ran around on her. Husband left her. Husband was narcissist and just, treated her like shit. Okay. And it was one of those things where, just completely berated her, and, you can't do this. You're too much. Calm down, be quiet. And, when I started working with her, it was one of these things where she apologized for everything, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You have nothing to be sorry about, really. But to be able to have her remember her voice, okay? And that may sound like a weird esoteric term, but it's not. Her voice is how she shows up. You know what? Her big deal was this. I like Jeeps. I like wearing fun tennis shoes. I don't care. It's what I do. I like telling jokes, and I like laughing out loud. And my husband hated every bit of it. Well, if that's true to you, who the hell's stopping you now? you know, but those voices, oh, well, I'm just too much. I need to tone it. No, you don't. And, or to try something. Hey, I've always been an introvert. Now I'll try an extrovert. Hey, you know what? I just kind of want to be pull back a little bit. Whatever feels right to you. And that's a big thing right there. Well, what's right? What's right is what's right for you right now. And not all of it's going to work. And that, I guess, it's the beautiful part is you can try something. And if it feels authentic, it feels natural, great. Take the best, leave the rest. That's it. That's simply it. All right. You like the palette reference? You're struggling to find how to reintroduce yourself. Perfect. You're no longer, oh my God, you're no longer a wife. You're first my kid's mom. Yeah, creating a new identity. That's it. That is it, because we have placed so much value from other people, from serving other people, from other people needing us, from being that, I've some of y'all may have heard me tell the story before, but it's like you forget, especially from a divorce situation. Okay. You go from being a we to a me, and you've been a we so long. Well, we do this. We do this on weekends. This is where we do that. Okay. I mean, I got set up on a date after I got divorced, and the woman I was out with asked me, she goes, "So what type of music you like?" And I freeze. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I had that little of opinion, and it was the idea because I didn't know what I liked. I knew what we did. I knew what she liked, and it sure as hell wasn't what I liked. Okay. So it's okay, but it doesn't happen instantly. Sometimes you have to go, hey, I go back to the art thing, right? That was something that I loved. I genuinely loved, had a passion for, enjoyed. And my dad didn't want it. When I got married, she didn't want any part of that. I mean, she was about as, nose in the air, North Dallas as you can get. So going hanging out with all these, weird artsy types, what's that about? I dug it. Okay. And that was me. And that felt natural. Okay. So you can be who you want to be, and you can try it on and try different things on. And that's the beauty of it. And, you know, who cares? Because who cares? You know why? I'm going to bring it full circle. Because time. Okay. Because of time. That's it. I know we're a midlife and older group here, but I'm going to share with you advice that I gave my youngest son, and it applies too. It really does. Kind of a refresher course. But my youngest son, he now lives in New York. He's graduated, and when he went off to school, he's kind of a nervous Nelly by nature. Anyway, the others no, but this one he was a little nervous. He was like, "I'm just kind of anxious." He goes, I don't want to make the wrong choice." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, look, I don't want to go and disappoint you or mom or his grandparents or whatever. And I don't want to choose the wrong major. And I don't want to do something stupid." And I said, I'm going to save you 30 years that I wish someone had told me. And I'm going to tell you this. We're all going to be dead. He's like, "What?" I go, "To tell your kid that we're going to be dead." I said, "As much as you don't want to hear this," I said, not too long, might be 10 years, whatever. But your grandparents, they're going to be dead. And at some point, your mom and I will be too. And your brother and sister are going to be living their lives, and they're going to have spouses and kids and all that. And you'll still be close, but they're going to live their own life. And so the point is, in 20 years, nobody's going to give a damn. Okay. So do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy, because when I'm in the ground, it's not going to matter. Okay. It's not. So live your life. That's it. I'll guide you. I'll steer you. I'll keep you out of trouble. I'll give you some advice, but do what makes you happy and feels true to yourself. I wish someone had told me that, because it took me a hell of a long time to actually snap out of it and go, I'm living my life. And you know what? Anybody wants to come on for the ride? Let's go. That's it. Okay. I'm going to open it up for questions for a second. And then I want to tell you how we can do one other thing. Okay. What other question? Anything? I know I dropped a boatload. So Well, yeah, creating that new identity. That's the big thing. I guess what, what I want to say about this is, um, I can't emphasize enough the idea of time in doing something now. Okay. Because, if you want to time travel a little bit, okay, let's look, next week is, back half of the year. Okay. So let's fast forward 6 months down the road. All right. It's Christmas, it's New Year's. And you decide, hey, you know what? That sounds great. I know I need to do something, but I'm just kind of scared, or I just don't know what to do, or I don't have time, or it's a lot. Okay. Yeah. Yes, it is. You don't do anything. And 6 months down the road, you're in the same spot. Okay. That's that's door number one. Okay. And door number two, 6 months down the road, it's December. And you have found an identity or working on it. You know who you are without being a mom or a spouse. You know what you like, where you're going. You have energy again. You feel more aligned and true to yourself and, your own natural color and vibe and voice. And you know that. So I want you to think about that. Think about if that, you do that 6 months from now and you start working on these things. And it's not all going to be perfect. Okay. It's not going to be perfect, but it's like, it's like I've said, I mean, it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back is progress. Still progress. You're still getting there. But think 6 months down the road, what you would look like, what your life would be like, how you would show up at a holiday party, how you would show up seeing your relatives, how it would be if, your kids come back and see you, whether there's, friends in your life, a person in your life, whether you're doing any of these things, what would that look like? So you have two doors. If you want the first one, keep doing what you're doing. Simple. Okay. If you want the second one, it's taking that first step and making that commitment. I hope this has given you some food for thought. I hope it's given you a kickstart. I hope it's made you realize that it is possible to start again, to reinvent yourself, and to make the best out of the rest of your life. Information is in the description below if you'd like to get in on the recourse. If you just like this and you want more tips, tools, advice, and things that can help you navigate midlife and beyond, I encourage you to subscribe here and check out the next video.